What if everything you've been told about Meghan Markle's motherhood isn't quite what it seems? From shocking claims by her own family to bizarre public sightings, the deeper you dig, the stranger and darker this royal mystery becomes.
And she's changed. She's not the daughter I knew. My daughter was a much more giving, loving person than she is now.
The story starts with Meghan Markle's own family dropping what can only be described as a bombshell. Her father, Thomas Markle, openly claimed Meghan had frozen her eggs years before she even met Prince Harry. This revelation alone might seem harmless. After all, egg freezing isn't uncommon among Hollywood hopefuls. But Thomas didn't stop there. He suggested something far more unsettling. Meghan reportedly underwent a hysterectomy afterward, while still married to her first husband, Trevor Engelson. To make matters even more intriguing, Meghan's brother echoed these same claims, adding weight to the allegations. Suddenly, the timeline doesn't add up. And this isn't just idle gossip on some obscure blog. These are direct statements from her immediate family. Imagine the ripple effect of these revelations if proven true. It shatters the carefully constructed fairy tale image Meghan and Harry have presented to the world. Consider the timeline carefully. Meghan supposedly had these medical procedures years before ever stepping foot into Kensington Palace. If she truly had a hysterectomy, how could she have possibly carried and birthed Archie and Lilibet? The mainstream media largely brushed past these uncomfortable questions, unwilling to touch such a potentially explosive narrative. But ignoring the details doesn't erase their significance, especially when her family's comments suggest that Meghan herself might be hiding something deeply personal and perhaps profoundly deceptive. But why would Meghan's own father and brother publicly discuss such intimate details about her health? Their motivations might be questioned, sure, but what they gain by fabricating these claims is unclear. Thomas Markle, in particular, expressed sadness about the changes in his daughter, describing her as unrecognizably distant and calculating compared to the warm, loving person he once knew. These family accusations challenge the very core of Meghan's public identity as a mother. If she couldn't have children biologically, where exactly did Archie and Lilibet come from? Was a surrogate quietly involved? Or is something even more puzzling at play? The royal family's silence on these allegations only deepens the mystery, leaving observers wondering why such serious claims remain unaddressed. In a saga already rich with drama and controversy, these bombshell allegations from Meghan's family aren't just shocking. They could redefine how the world sees one of the most scrutinized royal relationships in modern history. Let's look closer at one of the strangest puzzle pieces in this entire saga: Meghan Markle's financial situation when it came to storing her frozen eggs. According to medical professionals, maintaining frozen eggs isn't cheap. It typically costs between $8,000 and $9,000 a month. For an established Hollywood star, this might be pocket change, but Meghan was far from financially secure at the time these procedures allegedly happened. Back then, Meghan's primary source of income was her role as Rachel Zane on the TV show Suits. It's easy to assume that as an actress on a popular cable series, she was rolling in cash, but reality tells a different story. Insiders revealed Meghan made roughly $7,000 per episode, and even then, her appearances weren't consistent. Over 108 episodes, her actual screen presence adds up to just about 138 minutes total. In Hollywood terms, this is minor league, hardly enough to bankroll lavish expenses like long-term egg storage, especially considering her modest lifestyle before royal fame. This financial strain wasn't hypothetical. Those close to Meghan suggested she simply couldn't afford ongoing storage for her frozen eggs. If true, this leads to an unsettling implication. Meghan may have lost access to her eggs entirely due to unpaid bills. Imagine this scenario clearly. She invested emotionally and financially into a medical procedure, only to face the heartbreaking decision to abandon her biological legacy due to financial constraints. If accurate, it paints a stark contrast between Meghan's past and the wealthy, glamorous Duchess persona she adopted later. And here's why that matters. Without access to her previously stored eggs, combined with allegations of a hysterectomy, Meghan's path to biological motherhood seems practically impossible. Yet years later, she's presented 2 children to the world as her biological offspring. This raises questions about the real origins of Archie and Lilibet, questions that Meghan and Harry have continuously sidestepped. Critics argue this financial angle could be a critical clue, pointing toward deception. If Meghan indeed couldn't afford egg storage, the official narrative of her pregnancies falls apart. Did Meghan, faced with an impossible biological reality and limited resources at that critical time, choose another path entirely? Perhaps involving surrogacy, or even something more complicated. The deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes. Meghan's alleged financial struggles around egg storage aren't merely about money. They're about authenticity, transparency, and a royal image that might rest on foundations shakier than anyone realized. When you start looking for solid proof of Meghan Markle's pregnancies, one thing becomes glaringly obvious. Evidence is shockingly thin. Unlike typical celebrity pregnancies, where paparazzi capture countless candid moments, Meghan's journey to motherhood is oddly devoid of the usual visual records. Where are the genuine photos, the spontaneous videos, or even casual appearances showcasing an undeniably pregnant Meghan? Instead, the world received carefully curated, almost stage-managed glimpses into her pregnancies. Observers have pointed out repeatedly how scripted her public appearances felt. No messy, spontaneous motherhood moments, just posed images and controlled narratives. Fans and critics alike have wondered why there's so little genuine footage of Meghan interacting naturally with Archie and Lilibet. Typically, a mother shares unmistakable affection through casual gestures, hugs, and tender moments. But Meghan's public interactions with her kids have often appeared strained, distant, even awkwardly formal. Online discussions intensify when you consider specific incidents, like the curious sightings at Disneyland, where some observers claimed the child Meghan held one day seemed distinctly different from the child spotted the next. Could Meghan have used stand-ins or doubles for her own children during public appearances? It sounds outlandish, yet multiple sources and keen-eyed fans continue to highlight discrepancies, inconsistencies, and unusual details that just don't add up. Then there's the troubling silence surrounding hospital records. Not a single medical professional, nurse, or attendant has publicly verified Meghan's presence in maternity wards. Extraordinary considering her high-profile status. Most royals face inevitable leaks or reports confirming their hospital visits, yet Meghan's supposed deliveries remain strangely undocumented by independent witnesses or even routine medical confirmations. This persistent absence of concrete evidence, combined with Meghan's carefully curated image, sparks inevitable suspicion. Whether intentional or coincidental, the void left by this disappearing evidence fuels doubt and speculation. Critics argue this isn't merely privacy at play, but rather a strategic attempt at managing perception, potentially masking a reality Meghan prefers hidden from the world. Arguably, the most bizarre twist in the Meghan Markle motherhood saga centers around the infamous moon bump. This phrase emerged from videos capturing Meghan during her supposed pregnancies, footage that sparked instant suspicion online. In these clips, Meghan's belly appears to shift, fold, or collapse unnaturally, especially when she bends or sits down. Social media sleuths quickly pointed out that this wasn't typical pregnancy behavior. It looked more like padding or prosthetics slipping out of place. At first glance, it might sound ridiculous. Why would someone fake a pregnancy so publicly? Yet frame-by-frame analysis of these videos intensified speculation. Critics meticulously slowed down footage, revealing moments where Meghan's belly seemed unmistakably artificial. These weren't awkward camera angles. They appeared to be outright wardrobe malfunctions of a prosthetic belly. Adding to the intrigue was Meghan's hospital visit during the COVID-19 pandemic, a time when hospitals were enforcing incredibly strict policies. Observers questioned how Meghan managed not just to enter a maternity ward during such restrictive conditions, but to apparently orchestrate camera-friendly moments. It raised the question of whether these hospital visits were staged events rather than genuine medical appointments. The moon bump theory suggests something unsettling. Meghan's pregnancies may have been deliberate, elaborate acts of deception. Whether the reason was vanity, privacy, or something more complicated, the implications are profound. If proven true, it would represent a stunning betrayal of public trust. Despite attempts to dismiss these accusations as mere conspiracy, no official explanation has ever adequately addressed the anomalies. The fact remains, Meghan's moon bump isn't just a quirky internet meme, it's the visual smoking gun in a deeper mystery, one that continues to cast doubt on the authenticity of her motherhood narrative. Perhaps the most unsettling part of this royal mystery is the theory that Meghan Markle might actually be using different children in public appearances. It sounds like something straight from a movie, but eagle-eyed observers have pointed out troubling visual inconsistencies. At certain high-profile events, notably trips to Disneyland or carefully staged photo ops, Archie and Lilibet appear surprisingly different from one outing to another. These differences aren't just minor. A slight hairstyle change or outfit swap, they're more significant. Varying heights, facial structures, hair colors, even demeanor. In one striking incident, online commenters noted how the girl presented as Lilibet seemed unmistakably distinct in back-to-back appearances, fueling speculation of stand-ins. Critics argue that these drastic differences are too obvious to dismiss as simple misunderstandings or camera angles. But why would Meghan risk such blatant inconsistencies? If these theories hold weight, the motive would likely revolve around maintaining tight control over her children's images, perhaps driven by privacy concerns or even deeper deception. Still, the implication is unsettling. It suggests Meghan sees her children primarily as props in a carefully orchestrated public relations campaign, rather than genuinely sharing her family life. Moreover, royal family watchers point out the unusual presence of handlers and assistants during interactions with Archie and Lilibet. The children seem oddly uncomfortable or disconnected, their body language stiff, their reactions overly rehearsed, as if coached for each appearance. Public skepticism isn't born from idle curiosity. It's grounded in these visually perplexing anomalies and emotionally distant interactions. Ultimately, the different children theory challenges not only Meghan's authenticity, but also the very integrity of her entire public persona. If these suspicions are true, it would represent one of the most audacious and disturbing acts of public manipulation ever witnessed in royal circles. One of the most curious and overlooked anomalies in this royal puzzle involves Archie and Lilibet's birth certificates. Typically, royal documentation follows stringent, clearly defined protocols, yet in Meghan Markle's case, these formalities appeared unusually flexible. Initially, observers noticed Meghan's royal title being inexplicably removed from Archie's birth certificate, only to mysteriously reappear later. Such revisions are unheard of in standard official documentation, especially involving members of the British royal family. This inconsistency raised immediate red flags among royal watchers, suggesting behind-the-scenes confusion or intentional tampering. Then there's the controversy surrounding the inclusion of royal titles on birth certificates filed in the United States. Under standard American protocol, royal titles aren't recognized as legitimate legal names. Yet, Archie and Lilibet's paperwork oddly retain these titles. Sources close to immigration officials reportedly indicated that this unusual situation prompted direct inquiries to King Charles himself, seeking clarification on why these anomalies were permitted. Such unprecedented confusion suggests something profoundly irregular behind the scenes. The palace and Meghan herself have maintained complete silence, refusing to clarify or even acknowledge the discrepancies publicly. Critics wonder, was this merely administrative confusion, or did it reflect a deeper attempt at strategic ambiguity about the children's identities or circumstances of their births? This strange flexibility around official documents fuels speculation about the authenticity of the entire narrative. Are these irregularities intentional distractions or indications of a broader cover-up? With no official explanations forthcoming, the birth certificate mysteries linger as troubling loose ends. Far from being a minor administrative glitch, they underscore deeper suspicions about what might be deliberately hidden from the public, adding yet another unsettling layer to the Meghan Markle motherhood enigma. Prince Harry isn't merely an innocent bystander swept along in Meghan Markle's controversial narrative. He actively shapes it. From the start, Harry has aggressively pursued royal recognition for Archie and Lilibet, directly contradicting Queen Elizabeth's publicly stated policy. Before her passing, the Queen reportedly made it clear, royals stepping away from their duties would not retain certain privileges, notably HRH titles for their children. Yet Harry boldly pushed back against this established rule, demanding his children receive the coveted royal designations. Multiple insider sources confirm King Charles initially resisted this request, aligning with the late Queen's explicit wishes. But eventually, Charles seemed to buckle under pressure, quietly granting Archie and Lilibet their titles. Observers argue this sudden reversal wasn't merely compassionate grandfatherly leniency, it felt like a calculated concession meant to quell public controversy or appease Harry and Meghan's ongoing PR campaign. Critics highlight how Harry's insistence on royal titles starkly contrasts his earlier claims of rejecting royal life and seeking independence. This glaring contradiction fuels theories that Harry remains deeply invested in the monarchy, not for duty, but for influence and legacy. The titles he so vigorously demands aren't mere formalities. They represent lasting leverage, access, and legitimacy for his family on the global stage. But why is Harry playing along, especially if there's potential deception involved regarding the children? Speculation suggests Harry's motivations might intertwine loyalty, ambition, or even complicity. By aggressively asserting these titles, he's reinforcing the authenticity of their family narrative, regardless of unanswered questions. Ultimately, Harry's persistent role in securing royal recognition for Archie and Lilibet deepens the mystery. He's not a passive participant, but an active architect of their controversial public image, raising troubling questions about his true motives and intentions within this intricate royal drama. Behind every controversy is a motive, and Meghan Markle's alleged motherhood deception is no different. Speculation has swirled endlessly about why she might go to such extraordinary lengths. The most prominent theory revolves around power and influence. Insiders suggest Meghan believed having royal children, especially those bearing HRH titles, would cement her permanent connection to the monarchy. Even after stepping back, titles for Archie and Lilibet mean ongoing relevance, status, and invaluable brand equity. Critics argue Meghan's entire approach mirrors a carefully orchestrated PR campaign rather than genuine motherhood. Publicly, she projects a flawless family image designed to attract media attention, corporate partnerships, and lucrative business opportunities. Yet privately, some observers see a disconnect, describing Meghan's interactions with her children as distant or staged, more about optics than genuine emotional bonds. Another theory suggests Meghan's ambition to rewrite her personal narrative drove her toward such extremes. From actress to duchess, Meghan consistently sought validation and status. By ensuring her children held royal legitimacy, she not only solidified her own position, but elevated her perceived historical significance. It's not just about being famous, it's about legacy and permanence within one of the world's oldest institutions. Comparisons to Hollywood celebrities like the Kardashians have surfaced frequently, but there's a critical difference. Meghan didn't just crave attention, she pursued royal credibility and permanence. Unlike typical celebrity publicity stunts, this alleged deception fundamentally challenges public trust, raising profound ethical and moral questions. Ultimately, if these theories are accurate, Meghan's motive isn't merely vanity or financial gain. It's deeper, a strategic bid for lasting influence, royal legitimacy, and historical recognition. Yet if her alleged strategy unravels, Meghan risks more than public backlash. She risks a permanent erosion of credibility, transforming her royal fairy tale into one of modern history's most troubling scandals. In the end, Meghan Markle's motherhood controversy isn't just about gossip or royal drama. It's about trust, authenticity, and the lengths someone might go to maintain an illusion. The royal family's silence only amplifies suspicion, leaving us to wonder, when the facade finally collapses, how explosive will the truth truly be?